Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Alright, first and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Dash. And once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who deserve double honors and who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth across the four corners of the earth, while trying to wake up the remaining hopeful elect. This is now I'm on the DC camp, and before you, because I'm going to be using someone's video as a teaching tool, I got to read this disclaimer. Alright, fair use disclaimer. This copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Alright? Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. I do not intend to profit off of this any way whatsoever. Alright? Just acknowledging someone else's work here that I'm going to be used, alright, to discuss certain points having to do with that decision that came down a week ago now from the U.S. Supreme Court, alright, doing away with affirmative action, alright, but only in one aspect of it, and that has to do with race. It's important to realize that. So as we go into this video, I've seen the Moabites come out to work. Well, it wasn't all of us, blah, 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 blah. You know, whatever. This is why these people are our enemies. All right, these are all nations outside of Israel are our enemy. You need to understand that. All right, doesn't matter all the smiling faces they put on. You know, whatever. All right. So having said that, let's go ahead and watch this video. At least a good portion of it. I'm not going to play it all, but of course I will leave the link in the description box and you can watch the whole thing. But I just want to use him because he says this, and I want you to hear in his words. And then of course I'm just going to be adding scriptures to it. But it's something we've been saying all along, and it goes back to never trust your enemy. Now, these people have, and I'm talking about these other nations, conveniently so have allied themselves with our main enemy, and that is the so-called white man, whose biblical nationality is that of Edom. All right, when it benefited them, and you know, everyone just dumped on us, you know, but now they're starting to see that scripture we always bring up: never trust thine enemy. See, he used you. And the irony is, we're talking about you having access to higher education, and yet he played you like an old fiddle. It's beautiful to stand back. And now that's another thing I suggest for our people: don't get all frustrated because of this. These things are going to happen anyway. You know, just sit back, watch the shit show for what it is, and watch these other people that continually get played and used to come against us, because you gotta understand, we're the most hated. Alright, so once again, let's go on to this video. Alright, this is Mr. Phil Scott, of course, of the Phil Scott podcast and the African Diaspora site. And the gentleman you see, that gamut, I didn't get my books. And matter of fact, let me pause this and I'll get books real quick. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. I had to get my book here, but this is the gentleman here that's next to the Moabite. He wrote this book, amongst others, Dirty Little Secrets About Black History, Its Heroes, and Other Troublemakers. Alright, that's Claude Anderson, PhD. And it's the second one to this, more Dirty Little Secrets, alright, that he co-wrote with his son. And of course he wrote also the book black labor, white wealth. All right, so let's, enough of that. Let's go ahead and roll the video.
Well, tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the fallout still of this decision with the Supreme Court about affirmative action. And remember, I stated in the podcast that the Asian community is going to regret being a part of being a pawn for the white supremacists, because the white supremacist could not do this on his own. His new strategy is use all these immigrants that came into this country to try to unravel all the protections that actually help out those immigrants that come here to this country. So you remember the lady that we talked about a few nights ago named Yating Chu? Let me put that tweet up. So you remember this lady right here, and she said, I told my daughter that today is a big day. She said they've ended affirmative action. Isn't it what you've been fighting for? She asked. And I said, yes. Now, you know, Yateen is that woman at the bottom in the blue to the right. But check this out, Yateen. Since you want to unravel some things, let's see how them same people you teamed up with is screwing you. Let's put this up.
Listen to
now,
this.
The guy that you see up there, a Robin Voss, he is a representative from Wisconsin. The guy, Dan Lennington, is an attorney, and he's also part of the right wing. As you can see here, it says SCOTUS, eliminating racial discrimination means eliminating all of it, and that came from Chief Justice John Roberts. So it says the Wisconsin legislation can take some easy steps after this decision, such as fixing numerous scholarships, grants, and programs that exclude millions of Wisconsinites because of their race. Just one example. And then he put down here the minority undergraduate grants. You know, the things that you don't have to pay back. As in this section, minority undergraduate means an undergraduate student who is a Black American, it is an American Indian, is a Hispanic, is a person who is admitted to the United States after December 31, 1975.
Amazing how he broke that down. And I'm not talking about him for reading this, I'm talking about for the people who put this together initially. Blacks, Hispanics, Native American. And
who's either a former citizen of Laos, Vietnam.
Keep that in mind for what's coming later. Keep that on your mind.
Or Cambodia, or whose ancestor was a citizen of Laos, Vietnam, or Cambodia, that there is established to be administered by the Board of the Minority Undergraduate Retention Grant Program for minority undergraduates enrolled in private, non-profit higher educational institutions in this state or in a technical college in this state. So already, Yateen, they're now going after those grants that was for Asians. And they're going after those programs that Asians can get in. And they talking about technical school. So they're not even just talking about college, now they're talking about technical school to take away grants and scholarships and everything from the Asian community. But remember, Yateen, Black people were the problem. See, I'm not tripping on them taking anything. You know why I'm not tripping on it? Well, for multiple reasons. But the main reason why I'm not tripping on it is because we wasn't getting it anyway. We were not getting it. The Asian community is going to be the lackey for everybody to be pouncing on. You're going to see, because of what's going to roll downhill. White women are going to get upset with the Asian community too.
Shit rolls downhill, like they used to say in the military.
They looking at them funny and they treating them bad and all that. I'm going to say, hey, that's what you get for playing footsies with white supremacy.
Yep.
We told you. They're going to take everything away that they can. Because let me tell you why they're trying to do this. The white supremacist is desperate. The white supremacists
time is short.
See all these different groups of people coming in. And they know eventually those people are going to want resources. They're not going to just be underneath them forever. Now, of course, we see these immigrants coming to this country, and then they click up a white supremacist to attack us, as you can see with the Supreme Court decision. But they don't understand how when you team up with the devil, it never works out for you. And then later they'll be crying, right? Crying, and if it get too bad for them, they go run back to their homeland. See, black Americans, they don't have nowhere to go to. Sure, we can go become a citizen of another country, but it's a process. This is why some black Americans even take issue.
And you need to factor in, since he said that, you have to be aware of how this devil, this so-called white man, over the, well, ever since we've been over here, he's been mischaracterizing us, and that's a nice way of saying it, to the point where now, does anybody even want you? See, all this, let me rephrase that. There was a method, as I always say, to his madness. For the longest period of time, we had no means of, letting the world know what we as a people were going through, even though, don't kid yourself, people knew what was going on. It wasn't until the civil rights era, 50s, early 60s, that through television, that people were able to actually see, not hear, but actually see the shit that we were going through. Alright? And the world saw it. So the so-called white man, what do you think he did in retaliation? Well, we had to look like something that needed to be treated like that, that deserved to be treated like that, and that's what a lot of us don't understand. You look at these programs, I think the best example would have been the BET Awards just passed, and how ratchet our people were on display for the world to see. Nothing, you have to be, let me see, I'm going to phrase this. You got to understand who rules the entertainment industry. You have a people that have been pretending to be us. And this all goes back to Revelation 12 and 10, where you have to read, start at the beginning, understand who the woman is in that chapter, and that woman is the nation of Israel. Alright? And, you know, since he's pretending to be us, guess what? He is constantly on the attack. These are your people. They're acting this way. What? And you say, I don't deserve it? You know, this is what he's doing. He's trying to get that birthright back. It's not going to work. But he actually thinks so. But so many of my people, that's why the 2/3 have got to go. That's why that's in there. Zechariah 13 and 8 is in there. A lot of our people have been blinded, and for good reason. But in the meantime, they're going to do what they were set up to do also. And that's be the 2/3. And that's who he's exploiting. I'm talking about this so-called white man, especially over here in America, to his benefit. Alright? And they are doing a wonderful job. But, back to this. Yeah. These immigrants, and like I say, all of them are our enemy. There was another video I was watching yesterday, and I may even do a video on that one. But see, this decision last week, and this so-called white man knows exactly what he's doing. Like he said, he's desperate, alright? But in desperation, you also do things that you don't intend to, that work against you. That's why I said, just sit back and watch the shit show. Because a lot of these people, and he's going to come up from what he's reading from the decision that was written by one of the Supreme Court justices. And, well, let's just get to it.
With the continent of Africa. Why do the diaspora got to go through a process to go to the African continent if that's what they want to do? It should not be no process like that, other than processing paperwork. Now, I know some countries like Sierra Leone have a citizenship program. Like if you take African ancestry and it comes back that your people trace back to Sierra Leone, people have been getting citizenship that way. And I love that program actually better than I think all African countries need to take that program and say, hey, if you trace back here, then you should get a citizenship. That would be real good. I really support that kind of program. But we're going to see more and more of the unraveling of programs that a lot of these other people benefit from. Everybody going to start losing things now, especially in the red states. You better believe that. Now, let's get to the meat of what I want to talk about tonight. There's a video from Dr. Claude Anderson I mentioned a few podcasts ago. I said I wanted to get into this. And let's listen to Dr. Claude Anderson and why he states in this particular clip why we should focus on reparations. Let's roll it.
We're going to talk about, I guess I can call it shampoo. Okay? Now, all of you know that when you're going to go down and clean your carpeting, you go down to the store, you get the machine, and you go in and buy a little thing called shampoo to clean the carpet. And what shampoo does is really, it takes the sham out and leaves the poo in. Okay? And that's what's been going on through history with black folk. They keep taking the sham out and leaving the poo in. So this morning, we're going to do a little shampooing, okay? And we're going to start off and show you, take you right through history again, through a second segment of history. And we're going to start dealing with some of the issues about reparation. And everything I tell you must be taken in that context if you really, truly are going to understand the nature of reparations. That's the only way you're going to do it. You must understand the nature of it. And what it's saying is this. What I'm saying to you is that reparations is not a nicety. It's not something nice to have for black folk. It is now an absolute necessity. If you do not get reparations soon, black folk, as I told you, are through. Reparation is not a nicety, it's a necessity. Now, I first wrote my book, Black Labor, White Wealth. That's what I was telling you then. That's been 7 years ago. When I wrote the first affirmative action plan in the United States in 1971 that Jeb Bush just killed in Florida, as you all been reading about in the paper. I wrote that plan in 1971 as reparations for black folk. And nobody was giving anything to black folk for reparations at the time, but it was killed off within 6 months. It was converted to things for minority, women, children, gay, handicapped, midgets, humpbacks, everybody else. Everybody but black folk. And it was diluted down and black folk got nothing out of it. So affirmative action was dead 6 months after I put it on the floor. But now they've been given the pretense that somehow they've had affirmative action all these years. And they haven't had anything for black folk. Black folk haven't gotten anything out of affirmative action. And so in a way, I'm glad that affirmative action is now dead. I want them to bury it, and throw flowers, commemorate, and let it go. And I want black folks to go to reparations. Because that's the only way. You've got to have reparations. There's no other choice.
So as you heard Dr. Claude Anderson, he said that...
Now, let's be clear. We know that this devil is never going to give you reparations. All right, at least not the way you're expecting. What they're trying to do is have it so that whatever they grant you, they are going to profit off of. That's the way he always does it. You remember, even with welfare, we're not the majority on that, yet we're always used as the poster child for all these programs. Why? Because again, it goes into shedding, putting us in a bad light. All right? And we also know that the only true reparations is for this at Revelation 3. Well, let's go ahead and get it. I don't want to read it. I want to get it for you. All right, let's see. All right. This is the true reparation. All right. The beast from the sea. This is Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right, for all you Christians that say, oh, just let it be. Let's just all get along. You need to go. All right. You need to go. This. All right. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right, enough of that bullshit. Oh, we should get along. All right, and two, you have to wake up to, all right, who you truly are, and that's an Israelite, not black, not African. All right, and also who your true power, who your true gods are, and that's Most High's name is Yahweh, and His Son's name is Yahweh Shai. That's it. That's who you need to be praying to, not God and, JC. All right? You are Hebrew Israelites. This is not about what you look like, because you have to understand we were scattered throughout the earth. All right? It tells you that. Well, let's go to James, because he addresses that. And this can also be, we keep talking about, this says James, a servant of the Most High Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, His Son, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greeting. We were scattered into all nations, and as a result, over time, we're going to start to look like the other nations. But that does not mean it's the spirit that is important here, not the looks. All right? So let's go back and let him continue on with this, because we're never going to do it when we keep people like this keep emphasizing on economics. It's never going to work. Who's ruling over you? All right, the people that have power over you, they're in charge of the money. All right, and making the money and actually in controlling this world. The earth is given into the hands of who? The wicked. The wicked run this world. They rule this world. All right. So that's how and why we pray for the destruction of this place. Please. All right. It has to go.
So as you heard Dr. Claude Anderson, he said that let affirmative action die. He created affirmative action in Florida. He was the creator of it. And he said within 6 months, they undermined it. They muddied the water. They made it where it didn't even benefit black people as it should have benefited black people, or those who are descendants of slaves. It did not benefit us at all. But he said focus on reparations, and lineage-based reparations is important. He said that black folks need reparations. He was saying it at that time, and it's more so today that black folks need reparations. As you can see, if you focus on reparations based on race and saying it's black race, you see what happens when you focus on race. They'll strike it down and say, no, you can't do anything specific.
And this goes to all of you that have trust in this devil's science. All right. They'll take a DNA test, like he was emphasis on it earlier about these other countries doing that. Well, who created that? Who is in charge of all of that? And that's been proven to be bullshit. All right. Because it goes to mitochondrial DNA, which is on the female side. All right, so no. We're giving you here at Great Millstone the formula, all right, for success. This shit has to be done away with, point blank, period. There's no getting around it. Because a lot of you just are content, all right, with what you have and the position that you're in. And you got to go. You got to go. All right? Because this is the Most High. This is His program. This is what's going to happen. Not what you wish, because you're content. You're all fat and happy. All right? no, this has to be done away with. This devil he's destroying the earth. He's got to go.
One group, right? So it has to be lineage, and it has precedent on that with the Native American tribes. So lineage-based is the right way to go. On top of that decision, believe it or not,
the so-called Native Americans are our brothers and sisters. See, this is another thing what they don't get in shows like this, because they're not filtering it through the scriptures. That's why we do it. That's why I do this. All right? Because everything else he's saying is on point. It's just he hasn't made that leap, that link yet. All right? And maybe he has. Maybe he's just doing this. Sometimes he be coming out of his mouth like, you've been listening to videos. All right? He's not the only one either. All right? But, hey, if you're not going to go all the way, you know, like I said, I'm just using this as a tool, as an instrument. All right? To, you know, you got to be able to pick out the bones from the meat. All right?
Yateen, that decision actually helped black people more than what you think. Now you say, Phil, how did that decision help black people more than you think in the area of reparations? Well, while Yateen was celebrating, in her mind, black people being put into colleges and universities over them, because they thought that you can't qualify, you can't do the work, you can't. That's what they think automatically. So you taking a place for them with their arrogant behind. They got, well, she's from China. They got universities in China her behind her children go to. Why in the hell is she fighting for universities here? Or why didn't they go build their own universities in America, right? What Yateen didn't realize is that even two Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas, which a lot of people don't like, and Justice Neil Gorsuch, in their opinion,
now he's going to show you his opinion, and I want you to pay close Gorsuch. Pay close attention to how he writes this.
Says certain language that we needed to make sure that was written down already. Let's take a look at what Neil Gorsuch said, because what he said is actually very important. So let's start. It says the white category sweeps in anyone from Europe, Asia, west of India.
West of India.
So those East Indians, they're not calling them white. Oh no. They say you Asian, you are not white.
And North Africa.
He said it embraces an Iraqi or
What?
Ukrainian refugee as much as a...
Why? Now you know why they're so eager to funnel all this fucking money to Ukraine. I said in videos in the past, this is all a disguise, all right? A disguised effort to get these motherfuckers funds, because these are the motherfucking so-called, these are Amalek also, all right? This is where they were all driven up to, in that bottleneck between the Black and Caspian Seas, up into Georgia, Kiev, and all that. That's what that's the area that we're talking about. See? This is why you need to pay attention. Alright? I'm talking about to our people, to things other than your hood. Alright? But again, let's continue in, this is Gorsuch, Associate Supreme Court Justice. This is what he wrote.
Member of the British royal family.
Uh-huh.
So they look at those Arabs as white. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what this coming out of the Supreme Court Justice. Now let's look at it like this. He says, meanwhile, Black or African American covers everyone from a descendant of enslaved persons, they say, who grew up poor in the rural South, to a first-generation child of a wealthy Nigerian immigrant.
What?
Now, that's interesting that he brought up Nigerian immigrants and wealthy Nigerian immigrants. Let me say something real quick before I keep.
Because those West Africans are our people. Aha. So what else did you notice? The drawing of lines. You belong over here, we belong over here, and that's it. Something else we told you that was happening. All right? That's why everybody now is drawing their little lines in the sand. They're making these distinctions. All right? And we told you there would come a time, Isaiah 13 was going to happen. All right? Everyone's going to return to their own people. All right? Because this shit is getting ready to go down. Let's continue.
Going on. You know, if you take the best of any nation and put them anywhere, they're going to thrive. Let me give you an example. If I take...
And that's the big thing about Israelites. All the captivities we have been in, we have made those people that oppressed us better. Those nations have always been better. Why do you think America does not want to let us go? Mirroring what happened in ancient Egypt. Think about, when I often make the case about you have to understand slavery in its totality, which a lot of our people don't because they actually think it was done away with in 1865. No, it wasn't. All this guy did is change tactics. All right? You think he was just being, going to forget about all that free labor he enjoyed, all right, for up until that point? Well over 200 years. Did you really think that? No. How else is he going to do it? Gave birth to the, what? Prison industrial complex. All right? That's why you had all this rise in legislation to pass all these little petty little laws and shit. You know, Jake would get locked up for like vagrancy. Well, you're not employed, just released from chattel slavery. All right? Well, you don't have no, what? Yep, vagrancy. Lock them up. And guess what? Now you're back, you know, because of the wording of the 13th Amendment. All right? You have to learn to read, which made it so. So you were a slave again. All right? And then we had the 14th and 15th Amendments, which you know, like, so what? But that was all for our people. That didn't include all these other immigrants that came. That was exclusively for us. And that's what he was making reference to when he said that they watered everything down. All right? And they knew what they were doing. Because of that influx of immigrants, namely, they played the game with the Italians, specifically the Sicilians, who are nothing but niggers. For those of you that didn't know. So they did that with Sicilians, and they were hanging a lot of them alongside us. Number two in getting lynched the most was the Sicilians. Aha, didn't know that, did you? See, it's not about this black and white shit because, like I said earlier, a lot of us are mixed in with the other nations. Now, it should be easier with the Sicilians because you got to understand who conquered Sicily, and that was the Moors. Who were the Moors? All right, that goes into the Islam shit, but they were Jakes, our people, forced at the edge of a sword to worship Islam. That's it. You're still talking about Israelites. A lot of people can't see that because they all up in that Africa shit. Fuck Africa, first of all. That's not who they are. That's the land of Ham. All right? That's another nation from us. We come from Shem, not Ham or Japheth. And that's where a lot of people, because they were not properly taught or educated, you let your enemy dictate, all right, let's use that word that they like to use when it talks about critical race theory, indoctrinate. You didn't learn anything. You were indoctrinated. All right. You weren't taught the truth. All right. George Washington cherry tree. That's indoctrination. That lying piece of shit. When you go, that's a whole nother video. But yeah, Jake just, again, that's why there's 2/3. That's why a lot of our people were blinded. All right. This has happened. This is their lot. All right. And culminating with the 2/3. That's what they are.
10,000 well-to-do families out of America. I'm not talking about the millionaires and billionaires. Let's say families who make $250,000 and above, married couples with their children. And I take all 10,000 families who still have ability to make money here in America and use it in the African continent. So I take those 10,000 families and I place them, we could pick a country. We could say Nigeria. We could say Ghana.
And that's basically it. As far as I'm gonna go to prove my point. I'll put the link, of course. You can watch the rest of it. I've gone like a third of the way through. But yeah, it's sad that people, because of their hatred of us, can be so easily manipulated by our main enemy. And then he turns around and fucks them over. But you needed to have that done because you think that we are just sitting around with our thumbs up our ass. La 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 la. Give us this, give us that. No. There's a reason. He did not sabotage you like he has us. Now you're finding, hopefully you'll see. Alright. Let's see. I almost lost my train of thought. So this is what's so important about these scriptures here, that you're going to find out, like, we did, and we were trying to let you know this is what's going on. And this is just in general now. It says, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Another point that Phil brought up was, you have a country to go back to. You gotta understand, we're here, we have no place to go to. So all these gains that we got because we were the ones screaming to the top of our lungs, hey, this is fucked up, blah, 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 blah. And we finally got someone to listen, and here you come from somewhere else, all right, trying to jump on that bandwagon. And here you're going to, why we can't get into school because of these stupid, dumb, lazy blacks. And Esau played on that. Well, because there was this one particular Moabite that was one of the plaintiffs for this. And they got into his head. Well, you scored 1590 out of 1600. And you didn't get into, I believe it was 12 schools he applied. It's because of those niggers. Just about guarantee you that's what happened. You're like, God dang it, right? To be so smart and yet able to be played like that. Oh, boy. Sad, really is. Anyway, 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. This motherfucker is the way he is. He's never going to change because he can't change. 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And this is a pattern of his throughout the ages. This is his M.O., in other words. All right? From the Greeks, the Romans, wherever he's been. And now has revived Roman Empire in America. And it says, as neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words. And he pricked, and be pricked therewith. Now, you Moabites, you so-called Chinese, now you're trying to cop a plea and say, well, you know, we're sorry, it's not all of us. Fuck you. You're just going to have to find out. You don't fucked around, now you're going to find out. Because like he said, now they're taking all this shit. And like I said at the beginning of this, just sit back and watch the shit show. Alright? 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? And that's you. That's you fucking Moabites and all you other fucking, you fucking Elamites, all you motherfuckers. You getting ready to, like I say, find out. Who's going to pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts, such as these leprous, red, fucking so-called white people, these Edomites. Alright? We told you, we tried to warn you. Now look at you. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins. Who is the man of sin? Who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, like he did, buttered you up. Oh my goodness. But if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. And he was doing that all along. See, you should have remembered the days about the how he treated you with the railroads out west. You should have remembered the heroin dens that he had you in. The Boxer Rebellion, all that shit. But you didn't. You still looked at us, all them lazy niggers. Because all of you are our enemies. 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if you find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. And again, you're finding all of this, or starting to now. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much, and change his countenance. Now it's your turn. Thank you for helping me with the niggers. Thank you. Now let's see. What will we do? Oh, I know. Here's another one. Alright? Because this is who you're dealing with. This is who we're dealing with. Alright? Israel's only Savior, and that's Yahweh. Alright? The Most High's name is Yahweh. Through his son Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Vashim Yahweh Shah. He says, but now thus saith the Most High Yahweh, that created thee. Oops, I got the wrong one. Slack it. Hold on. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, tripping there. This is King David. He says, send out your light and your truth. It says, judge me, O Most High Yahweh, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful, and unjust man. Let's go into that. Deceitful. Oh. Strong's H 4820. False. Feigned. He pretends. It's full of guile. Subtlety. And this is what it's actually talking about, a person, when it goes back to Genesis 3rd chapter. For you Christians out there. The sly, the slick, the wicked. That's a song. Alright. I believe it's a Lost Generation, 1970, somewhere thereabouts. Treachery. This is all he's full of. He's crafty. He's a fraud. This is who you're expecting justice from. This is who you're expecting any kind of righteousness from. That's why he is the wicked. He is a devil, a deceiver, and a liar. Alright? That's what he's created to be. That's all he's going to be. This is unjust. Strong's H5766. Iniquity. 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter, the heading there is about the man of lawlessness. Perverseness. That spirit of perverseness is all throughout here now. You got shit that's celebrated that doesn't even need to be acknowledged. It should be put to death. We just came out of a so-called Pride Month. Proud of what? To be a degenerate? Unrighteousness. In other words, wicked. Malachi 1st chapter, verses 1 through 4. The point is in 4. This is who you're dealing with. So now, you other nations, the one we're talking about now is Moab. Elam, you too, because Gorsuch, in his writing, he put a distinction there between you and the so-called white man. He said everything west of India. So all y'all gonna find out, and you know what? Good for you. Good. You deserve it. Hey, so of course, whoever views this, I hope is edified. There's a lot that's going on now, and it's only going to speed up. All right, this is why we encourage you to remain steadfast in your faith and continue to pray now more than ever. Because like I said, this so-called white man is getting ready to pull the rug out from everybody, out from under everybody. All right. Hey, so until the next video, hey, shalom.